Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to ask question under my name to the Honourable Attorney-General, Minister for Economy, Public Enterprises, Civil Service and Communications. In government's push to leave no one behind, can the Honourable Minister explain why is it important to consult widely, especially with the younger generation, regarding the future, like the Nationwide Budget Consultations?
Thank you. The Honourable Attorney-General, Minister for Economy, Public Enterprises, Civil Service and Communications, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'd like to thank the Honourable Member for this question. Madam Speaker, today in Fiji, 25% of the overall population is between the age of 17 and 30. 69.4% of the entire population is below the age of 40. So our demographic statistics demonstrates that it's skewed very much towards those people below the age of 40. It is therefore critical, Madam Speaker, to ensure that nationwide consultations, in particular regarding the budget, is actually held with this particular demographic. Madam Speaker, prior to the implementation of the 2013 Constitution, people below the age of, those above the age of 18 until they reach 21, they could enlist in the military, they could go and enlist in the police force, they had to pay taxes. If they were convicted of a criminal offense, they went to the adult prison, they could get married, but they could not vote. So they treated everything, every single aspect of their life, they were treated as an adult, but they could not vote. They did not have a say in how their affairs would be run. That scenario, Madam Speaker, obviously has changed. The 2013 Constitution has changed that. People now over the age of 18 have a right to vote, and they can do all those other things that I have just stated. It is therefore very critical, Madam Speaker, to be able to involve them in this nationwide consultation process. Last year, Madam Speaker, we also started consultations with high schools. A lot of the students who are near 13 are 17 or 18 years old. In the same way, Madam Speaker, like it was unprecedented, previously no other government had also consulted people with disabilities. We, for the first time again last year, started consultation with disabled persons and of course the individual associations. We had that in the Western Division, we had that in the Central Division. We also had other public consultations which people could come to. Just in terms of the statistics, Madam Speaker, the last year's consultations, we had only in 3 schools. We had one at Lambasa College for the Northern Division, we had one at Suva Grammar School for the Central Division, and Natambo High School for the Western Division. We had 91 schools, in which 783 students participated. In that process also, Madam Speaker, one of the key issues that did come out, and in fact was adopted in the 2016-2017 budget, was the increase in the number of scholarships. Madam Speaker, as you would recall, when the scholarship scheme started, which is based on merit and on a needs basis for the country, we had 600 scholarships which were given out. After the consultation, we had 630 scholarships. It was increased to 630. And indeed, many of the students actually said that whilst the needs basis was very much science-focused, they also wanted more scholarships in the areas of economics and also financial services and also, for example, accounting. And indeed, that was taken on board. This year, Madam Speaker, in our quest to essentially leave no one behind, and in particular to hear from this group of people who are very energized, who are very positive, as we've seen in many of our consultations, and have a lot of bright ideas, we have in fact, Madam Speaker, expanded the consultations. And the consultations, Madam Speaker, as was advertised in the Fiji Sun and also on the radio stations, we are having, for example, starting on the 10th of April, Madam Speaker, at Vasis Muni College for Navua, Suva Grammar School in Suva, for the Suva region, Vunimono High School for Nosuri, Singatoka Methodist College at Singatoka, Nandi Swami Vivekanand College, Lotoka is Natambo High School, Ba is Xavier College, Rakiraki is Penang Sangam High School, Tabo is Tabo College, Lambasa is Lambasa College, and in Sabu we'll be holding it at the Montfort Technical Institute, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this time also we have sought permission from the various campuses and the university campuses. So we're having on the 11th May, we're having a consultation in the morning at FNU Natumbua campus. In the afternoon, University of Fiji Lautoka campus in Savanni. On the 12th of May at USP Lodala campus. 12th of May at FNU Sambula, and again on 12th of May at FNU Messina. One of the things, Madam Speaker, which is very interesting, as we found in public consultations, is that we are able to also talk about how the budget works. What are the things that we take into consideration, where the economy is at, how is our debt to GDP ratio, what is the economic outlook, what are the areas that contribute to the economy, and people do get a better understanding of it and how we actually prioritize, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, all in all, this of course has been a very useful exercise. It does include a lot of people. I'd just like to digress and also talk about the fact that we had the consultation of the disabled associations in the Central Division on last Friday and also on Wednesday prior to that in Lautoka. Very useful, Madam Speaker. Very large-scale participation and contribution, and I see some of them actually are here in the public gallery today. And Madam Speaker, it's very, very useful for us because what we do actually get to hear also at sometimes, you know, the very practical issues that people face on a day-to-day basis. Not all of them necessarily can be solved through the budgetary process per se, but also there are some implications for the respective ministries regarding implementation. We are also able to, Madam Speaker, highlight to them how they also need to be accountable. Some of the disabled associations, for example, that we're supposed to give money to, they have not presented their audited accounts. One, in fact, has a police case. So we're able to highlight to them and say to them, look, we have not given you your budget because of these reasons. So we hope to, through this process, involve everybody in the process, get people to be a lot more informed. Many of these people will become husbands and wives and mothers and fathers very soon. They will have jobs, they will have own assets. So it's important for them to be able to make contribution in respect of this. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you. Honorable Mbolitabu.
Previously, this particular exercise was conducted by civil servants. Can the Minister consider that he withdraw himself and leave the civil servants of the budget division conduct this consultation? Because his involvement proves there a political interference. There could be other things in brainstorming children, madam, without getting their consent from the parents. I think this is under the Commonwealth. It's the only minister that is moving around. Probably can the minister consider that he withdraw himself and let the civil servant do their job freely.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, when I was in India a few weeks ago, I remember reading on the internet, the media monitor that we get, that some politician outside this parliament had made a similar comment to what Honorable Bulitabu is saying. Maybe he's just regurgitating, maybe he wrote that statement for him. The fact of the matter is, Madam Speaker, and he has been to one of those consultations last year. I do not know, Madam Speaker, how much mind-boggling exercise did I do to convert his mind. Obviously it did not work well if I was to do that. Reality is, Madam Speaker, they again in a way are insulting our youth. They think, they're insulting our youth. They think that these people have got no mind of their own. They think that they're always vulnerable. In fact, Madam Speaker, last week when I was at Natumbua High School for some other event, I had asked the students, I said, do you think that you want to not participate in this? Do you want to? And they all overwhelmingly said yes. Madam Speaker, this side of the House has a lot more confidence in our youth than they do. A lot more confidence. We believe they don't get brainwashed as you're telling them. And Madam Speaker, if anybody has been to those consultations will also realize we present to them the facts and we actually hear from them what they want. We're actually there to answer the queries. On one hand they talk about democracy. This is live democracy at work. This is the government of the day interacting with the Fijian people. Just earlier on, Madam Speaker, it's not selective at all. You can attend too. You'll learn a lot more. Madam Speaker, the fact of the matter is this. They are actually in a quandary because they talk about democracy, etc. When we actually go out to the grassroots people and participate, encourage them, put in place initiatives, they actually see the political future of theirs. They don't see it from an objective perspective. They've all complained about what happened in Nabua last week when the Honourable Prime Minister gave out the grants to these people. Honorable member from Namosi was lamenting to me yesterday as to why he wasn't invited to Navua. The fact of the matter is, Madam Speaker, he was lamenting about that. He said, oh, this guy did not invite him. Madam Speaker, the fact of the matter is this. If you look at these initiatives objectively, it is participatory. We are involving the Fijian people in respect of having consultations. There's nothing untoward about it. They're just simply concerned about the fact that the ordinary Fijians will be able to now rely on facts and not the fiction that they are spreading.
Thank you. Honorable Member.
Thank you. We also believe in not leaving anyone behind. And indeed, 2 years ago, we advocated last year that there should be free tuition at university and at technical colleges. This is a SODALPA position. And they got hearing from the students on that last year. Can I ask the Honourable Minister, is the Fiji First Government also promoting this idea from SODALPA that there is no tuition and no for both university and technical colleges? Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, there is actually tuition. Maybe the Honourable Member is talking about tuition fees. Madam Speaker, the fact of the matter is this. Madam Speaker, this is of course a separate question. It's a budget question. We had addressed this question last year in the budget debate. And as we explained in the budget debate, is that firstly, no other government has provided the type of assistance we provide to primary and secondary school. The Honourable Leader of Opposition in Parliament was Minister of Education. Nothing like this happened under her. No other government, Madam Speaker, has provided scholarships based on merit and the needs of a country. No other government, Madam Speaker, has provided a tertiary education loan scheme in which only some people pay a maximum interest rate of 1.5%, Madam Speaker. No other government has done that, and that's a fact. Now, Madam Speaker, no other government has also provided up to $21 million in subsidized bus fares and transportation. No other government, Madam Speaker, has provided, Madam Speaker, the kind of textbooks material that we are doing at the moment, Madam Speaker. All of this, Madam Speaker, and I've got a list here. I've actually got a list, and I'm going to now read it out. Because the Honourable Member, I'm going to answer his question. Madam Speaker, government in its effort to nurture and develop the younger generation allocated close to $300 million in last year's budget towards education and capacity building programs. We had the school rehabilitation bill, tertiary education loan scheme, 143 million, school rehab built, tertiary education loan scheme, 42.5 million, scholarship 16.3, which also includes the previous scholarships, the PSC scholarships, the Itauke scholarships, the multi-ethnic that still have not finished yet, subsidized bus fare, like I said, $20 million, the free school fees, $66.5 million, the free milk and Weet-Bix, $3.6 million, FNU, the grant to FNU, operational, not capital, operational, $45 million, USP, $30 million, University of Fiji, $2.3 million, Center for Appropriate Technology and Development, $736,000, Montfort Boys Town Visari, $287,000, Montfort Boys Town Savusavu, $387,000, Corpus Christi College, $140,000, Sangam Institute of Technology, $250,000, Fulton College, $50,000, Vivekanand Technical College, $143,000, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, again, if you take that, all of that into consideration, leadership and training of teachers, $100,000, implementation of new assessment framework training, $550,000, teacher in service training, $700,000, salary grant for ECE teachers, $6.8 million, incentive allowance, $50,000, executive teachers allowance, $986,000, hostel allowance, $356,000, location allowance, $8.4 million to get our teachers in the rural areas. Remote rural allowance also $628,000. Transfer allowance $470,000.
Point of order.
The explanation is irrelevant to the question, Madam Speaker. The question, answer the question.
Thank you. But the question is the National Budget Consultation has been given as an example, and therefore the information being shared are really on the budget part of the question. So it is relevant to the question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, these are some of the areas in which money has been spent. See, Madam Speaker, again, you see, unfortunately with the opposition, they probably woke up to the fact that a substantial portion of our population are the younger people. So then they suddenly said, let's come up with this idea of giving them completely free tuition. So you see, because they woke up to the fact because the government is doing this. But they forget in the process, Madam Speaker, that the budget is all about balancing. You have to be able to relocate or allocate limited resources. Every country has limited resources. And it's a question of prioritization. Isn't it a question, Madam Speaker, of giving and highlighting certain priority areas and giving them the leg up to be able to do things that they weren't able to do before without neglecting other sectors in the economy? So many times you've heard them say, take this money from FRA, take this from the military, give it over here, huge amounts of money. How will it be implemented? As the capacity is there, what will it do to that particular sector from which you are taking out the money from? How will those areas be addressed if there is a shortage of funds in those areas? So good government, Madam Speaker, is able to balance this priority. A good government, Madam Speaker, is able to provide a focus on a particular area. Why have we done TELS? Madam Speaker, if you go out to members of the public, so many of them will tell you, so many of them, they say, we wish TELS was around when we were in high school. We wish the scholarship around was there when we were in leaving high school. Because today I would have had a university degree. Today I would have got a scholarship. They were marginalized, they were left out. Whether because they were poor, the socioeconomic background was not good, whether because there was discrimination on the basis of ethnicity, whatever the case was. Madam Speaker, the fact of the matter is, the people, the parents, the population are very happy with this. They also know, Madam Speaker, in fact, Madam Speaker, I venture out to say, they sometimes have a much better understanding of economics than what's coming from the other side of the house. They recognize, as a household needs to balance its budget in terms of priorities, similarly, a government needs to balance. And the general population, Madam Speaker, is happy when a government is able to balance this budget and able to give assistance in different priority and key sectors of the economy. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Aiyaz. Last question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I note the question is regarding consultations in younger generations. And the Minister has been seen to be conducting consultations in classrooms. The question that I'd like to ask the Minister, in the previous consultations that he has conducted, and the ones that he is about to conduct, whether he has obtained prior informed parental consent before you conduct your budget consultations within schools.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, again, we have a lot of confidence in our youth, a lot of confidence in our high school students. We have different organizations that go out from outside the schools to impart knowledge. We have people, for example, Madam Speaker, who go and talk about the environment. They may talk about sexual reproduction. They may talk about various other aspects, what our youth need to know about, and it's part of the school curriculum. It's part of the overall learning environment of that particular school. Madam Speaker, the teachers are involved. The parents are the ones, if anybody wishes to not attend, that they inform the teachers. The reality is, Madam Speaker, the teachers actually welcome this. The teachers actually encourage the students also, because it's a huge learning process. As I've highlighted to the Honourable Member and everybody else, if you are 17, 18 years old, wouldn't you want to know what is about to happen to you? How will your future be affected? How is government making policies and decisions, in particular regarding the budget, in respect of you as an individual? Where do you want to see your future? Obviously, all of these children, all of these students, some of them are already over the age of 18. And just to highlight to the honourable member, a few years ago, before we changed the law, a female could get married from the age of 16 to the age of 21 with parents' consent. After 21, they did not need their parents' consent. A male between the ages of 18 and 21 could get married with parents' consent. After 21, they don't need consent. We adhere now to the UN standards. We amended the law because there's also an abuse of process. Girls were being married off to people who used to in particular come from overseas at the age of 16 or 17 with some rich person arriving on our shores and parents consenting them to get married. Madam Speaker, it used to happen. We stopped that because, Madam Speaker, the fact of the matter is now girls cannot be married off at the age of 16 nor at the age of 17. Anybody can get married from the age of 18 without needing parents' consent because that's when you become an adult. And part and parcel of this process, Madam Speaker, is to engage our young people, engage our youth, to be able to impart knowledge to them. And if any student does not want to attend, they're free not to. They're free not to. Nobody is forced. No teacher forces them. They think that we are actually grabbing these people, tying them to the chair, and somehow the other enforcing this knowledge onto them. That's what they're trying to enforce or portray. And if you see, Madam Speaker, if you see, we actually advertise this in the papers. We make the announcements in the radio. And, Madam Speaker, it's up to the individual schools to even participate. There's some schools who don't want to participate. That's their choice. You see an advertisement, I think it is in yesterday's papers. It says, for Lautoka region, it will be held here. If you want to make arrangements to attend, contact this person. They do that. It's their free choice to attend. But at the end of the day, Madam Speaker, all of the students gain a lot, and they're actually very appreciative that we're helping them participate in this process. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, honourable members. I'd like to thank you very much.